Good afternoon to all of you. Is my voice audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
For Division A, can you hear my voice? Please answer if yes. Okay, I'm getting reply. Yes, sir. For Division B, is it audible? Division B students?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for reply. For both the divisions, I am audible. So, shall we start then? Okay, we'll start our lecture of CIP. It is our second lecture. Is this presentation visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we were in the last lecture, we were discussing about the subject we have allotted for this semester, that is CIP, Communication Improvement Program. In the last lecture, we have discussed about importance of English. So what is the importance of English? It is important language because it has become a global language. In each corner of a world, it is spoken by all people from different religions, caste, races, and creeds. So it is very important language. So in the last lecture, we have discussed about what is a language. So language is nothing but is the medium by which we communicate with the other people or someone who is in front of us, that uh, to which we are speaking or communicating to. So we use language as a medium for the communication. So this is about the language. So next we discussed about why do we learn English. So we learn English as because of it is an international language, and it is primary as well as secondary language used in all over the world. Some of the countries like UK, United States of America, Canada, Australia have New Zealand have English as a first language or primary language, but some of the countries like India and Asian countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, and other, many of the countries have English as their secondary language. And next, uh, we also discussed about it is an language used for Hollywood movies as well as international banking and for the purpose of business. So, as we see, many of the films of Hollywood are uh, made in the language using English. They use English for the communication purpose as well as for the uh, dubbing purpose also they have used that language. So then next point we have discussed, that is why do we learn English? So why do we learn English? As it is a global language and globalization covers all aspects of life. We are uh, really surrounded by globalization. Because of globalization, the world come close to us. We come close. People in the world from different countries such as America or mm, European countries. If we have our friends living in European countries, they can contact with us and we can contact them, communicate them by teleconferencing and many other mediums because of globalization. So it is a global language of globalization. Then we have discussed about what are the reasons to learn English. So what are these reasons? It is essential for work, for the working purpose, and also official language. It is used and it is essentially essential language used for the working purpose. It is the universal language. As all over the universe, we are using it as a medium to express, to communicate ourselves with other people. That is why it is a universal language. It will open the doors of new cultures. By having knowledge of English itself, we can open the doors of new cultures. As we know that we have different cultures around us. In India itself, we have different cultures. Each state has its own culture, and in whole world, then how many of cultures are there? We can't even know. So, for getting the knowledge of different cultures, for getting the doors open for the new cultures, we learn English as a language of medium, as a language of expression. So the next reason that why we learn English is we we travel from here to there. We travel through world. We travel through our country also. So for the traveling purpose also, we need the English as a language for the communication. If we go for a trip to southern India, then for the communicating with those people, South Indian peoples, we either need to have a knowledge of their language, that is South Indian languages such as Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, or we should know the English language very properly. So for the purpose of traveling, we use English as a language. The next purpose is it is a language of art and literature. Yes, because we know that art art uh, has its expressive language, and it is the only English language through which writers or uh, artists can give their message very prominently, or they can give their message clear, because English is a global language and each and every country in this world is touched with this English language, and it is also the language of literature. Uh, do you know that literature, almost 90% of literature uh, is written in the English language? Why it is so? Because of it is a well-known language. It is a highly spread language, and that is why the artists, the writers, the authors also uh, send their feelings, or they want to convey their feelings through the writings, and they write in the English language. And the uh, last reason is it eliminates the language weaknesses. So English is a language, if we know that, if we command that language, then we get a lot of confidence in front of the world, because command, having a command on English is very important in this new world, and that is why it is the language of globe. The next we have discussed about the power of the English language, and in that uh, we discussed that it is really difficult without knowing the English language to live in this world. We are surrounded with the environment, and that environment, if we know the English language very well, then we can survive in this world at any corner of this world. And that is why this is the power of this English language. And next, we also discussed about English as an international common term. As it is global language and spread all over the world, it is also called as international common term. There are several factors that make the English language essential for the communication in our current time. Uh, if we want to travel to the foreign countries, and uh, we want to connect or to communicate with the people from different countries, then it is only the English language by which we get connected to that person or that foreigner. And that is why it is international common term. It is also a language of education. For the purpose of education, it is used widely all over the world. Even you also might have learned uh, in the English medium schools. So you know that from KG to PG, from KG to PG, everywhere it is in the English language which is used as a language of medium or language of education. Almost 90% of educational subjects are also written in English. And further, they have discussed that even in the countries where it is not an official language, such as Netherlands and Sweden, we will find that the syllabus or syllabi of science and engineering are written in English language. So for you people also, if English is not there, then what is the picture of this engineering field? You couldn't get the knowledge that is from all over the world, and you couldn't be connected with that knowledge, and that is why you have English as a medium of language for engineering and medical purpose also. So the next, they have pointed that because it is the dominant language in the sciences, most of the research and study you find in any given scientific field will be written in it as well. So many of the scientific research works and research papers, and we can also call that PhDs are also uh, studied by using this English language. It is the medium of research papers, research articles, many of the magazines and uh, newspapers also, we can read them in English language. That is why it is important. Uh, the next is what? Travel and business. So for before some time, I told you that for the traveling purpose, if we want to travel or we are on a trip to foreign countries and we are there uh, and we want to communicate with the people. So for communicating with them, we use English language. So for the traveling purpose, it is the most important language. And international business. Next point is what? International business is also runs on the English language. So for the business purpose also, it is very important to have knowledge of English. With good understanding and communication in English, you can travel around the globe because it is the international language for foreigners. Next is English skills will also help you in any business venture. Yes, in any business venture, if you are going to open your business, then it is, if you are very well known and very qualified with the English language, then it feels easy to communicate with the people from even foreigners also and even people with our race also. So for the business venture, it is very important. And if next point is what? If you visit some offices, companies, government organizations, engineering companies, in that you can also categorize it as IT companies, core companies. So in these engineering companies also, you will see that importance of English. The next point is what? Any big company will hire their professional staff after getting to know whether the people they are hiring are good at English or not. If it is very important point for you also. So keep this point in your mind if you want to get a job for in IT companies or MNCs, multinational companies such as Wipro, TCS, uh, and others, Cummins. So you will have knowledge, good knowledge of communication in English. So keep in mind this point. Any big company will hire their professional staff after getting to know whether the people they are hiring are good at English or not. So for your purpose of getting job, you will need to have a command on your English language. The next point is what? companies who want to function at international level, they only consider the staff with well educated and having a good knowledge of English. They only prefer the people having a good knowledge of communication in English, and uh, also they also see that do you have a knowledge that you have studied in the degree. They also check this knowledge, and this is all about travel and business. The next point is what? Resources make learning English easy. So we, in the last lecture, we come till the till this point that resources make learning English easy. So we will start today's lecture from this point. So resources make learning easy. You know that English is the only language that has many resources and many books on grammar and many books on literature on and others. So English has a wide range of resources, and that is why English, uh, we can say that English is easy language. It is easy to learn English because we have many resources to learn this language. So come to the first point then. Although many people think that it is very difficult and confusing. See, many people think that English language is difficult and confusing, but English is actually the easiest language of the world to learn because there are so many resources available. We have many resources, millions of the resources are there in English language for learning the English itself. For even we can say that market guidebooks to the Oxford uh, Oxford literature, Oxford language learning books. We have many resources. We have local market guides also, and Oxford companion to English language or English grammar. So uh, it is the wide range of resources that we can use for the learning purpose of this English language. So come to the next point then. As soon as you decide you want to learn, there are thousands of resources on the internet and in the bookstores. When you decide to learn English, then if you Google on the internet, then you can find millions of resources. Many of the resources that is popped on your windows and on your screen of your mobile or computer, through which you can learn it. And you can find also online books for the learning purpose of this language. So bookstores are also there, such as Amazon or uh, Flipkart. From there, you can buy the books on grammar or learning language. So, come to the next point. I'm not just talking about lessons and grammar books. Yes, and here I'm not talking about just grammar and lesson books. You can find also literature books, as literature is the only source you can apply or you can read for the pleasure of reading. So if you learn how to uh, read literature book, then it is very easy part to learn this language, and that is why it is very important to have a knowledge. So come to the next point then. You can supplement traditional learning materials with children's TV shows and books. Yes, it is very important point for you people. If you think that English is quite difficult to speak or to uh, have an effective communication in English, so you can use the children's TV shows, or you can use the comic books. Start from comic books or children's TV shows, such as that Cartoon Network channel is there, and you can, if you can see that there are many shows like Chota Bheem or other shows, then you only prefer the medium of English language, and you only see the shows or watch the shows on TVs that have English as a language, and how they talk. You can learn from it that how they speak, how they express themselves. So you can, it is very easy to learn English language through these Cartoon Network shows or children's TV shows. And also you can start to learn English from the comic books or children's books, because as you know that the language of these books is quite easy to understand you people, and it can be grasped without any efforts. So the language is very easy for these books, and that is why I will suggest you that if you want to learn English from its basics, just start your reading or start your learning English language from comic books or children's books. The next point is that I suggest watching as much TV as you can in English with English subtitles. So here in this point, I suggest you that you should watch as much TV shows or as much movies you can in. Here I'm using word in only in English. Okay, so you can watch as much TV shows or as much movies with English as a language and with English subtitles, because after you watch your movies or TV shows in English as a language or English subtitles, then you start learning that language by hearing that language and by reading that subtitles that are below the that screen. They appear at the screen at the below. That is why it is very necessary to have the it is very necessary to watch as much TV shows and movies that are in English. So next is what? And you will pick up conversational English in no time. And that is why you can pick up your conversation. You can improve your conversation abilities, speaking abilities in no time. Means within little time you can learn them. The next slide is about internet and press. As it is the language of internet and press, it is very important to know this. On the internet, most websites have written content in English. So internet, if we want to search anything that is on Google, then how can we find them? We can find it by only typing that uh, that query or that question you want to answer. So on the internet, most websites have written content in English. Even sites in other languages offer them the option to translate site. So we can also use the option of translation, as there is also the provision, or we can say that there is also even provision of translating the content that you want to translate it in your language or to English language. The next point is that it is the primary language of the press. Yes, uh, it is also the primary language that is used in the press or uh, print media, or we can say that digital media. So more newspapers and books are written in English than any other language. More and more newspapers and TV shows or also books, magazines are also written in English language and other language. And no matter where you are in the world, and you will find learning material of English language easily. So it is not difficult to find the material of English on the internet also. And that is why due to these reasons, English is so much important language. So let's come to the end of this introductory topic. Let's come to the summary then. So what is there in summary? English is a language of business, education, knowledge and learning, traveling, job opportunity, window to the world, internet and press, science and engineering, and globalization. So in the summary, we can say that English is a language of business. We do our business, or the world, in the world, we use English for English as a language for the purpose of business. Also, we use English as a language of medium, language of education. Then it is also the language of knowledge and learning. We acquire our knowledge, we acquire language, we learn our study, or we study in the medium, through the medium of English. So it is the language of knowledge and learning. Then next point is what? Traveling. Yes, we have discussed it before also. So for the traveling purpose, if we are on a tour or on a trip and we are traveling to the foreign countries, then we should know the English language for the communication purpose. By acquiring this language, by learning this language, we can open the door of the job opportunities. So it is the language by which we can open the door of job opportunity. It is also the window to the world. It is a very important point. We see or we watch this world through the window, and that window is nothing but this English. We can communicate with the people at a different corner of the world with us, or we can communicate with him through this window. So we also may call it as window to the world. It is also the language of internet and press, and science and engineering. You also know that your subjects that are related to your syllabus, that are also you study in the medium, and that is the English. So it is the language of science and engineering. And also the last point is what? Globalization. So it is the language of globalization. Globally, we connect with other people through this language. So this is the introductory lecture in which we come to know that what is there if we don't know the English language, and why is it important to learn this language. So this is introductory lecture. Let's move towards next topic. Just a second. I have to find next PPT. So let's come to the next chapter, and let's know the structure of CIP. What we are going to learn, or what we are going to discuss through this lecture series of CIP. And before going to start the series of lectures, we have to know the structure of CIP. What is there in the CIP? What are the units that we are going to learn through this syllabus? So let's move towards next slide, that is structure of CIP. So in this there are 4 sections: section A, section B, section C, and section D. We will try to cover maximum content through all of these sections, and let's discuss about what is there in section A. So section A is of basic grammar. Here there are 6 units. Unit 1 is about introduction, and in this unit we are going to discuss about importance of communication, and this unit we have already covered through our first lecture. And so what we have discussed before some time about what is the importance of communication. The lecture required for this unit is 1, and we also already have covered this unit in the 1 lecture. So unit 2nd is of parts of speech, where we are going to learn how many parts of speech are there. Do you know how many parts of speech are there? Yes? There are 8 parts of speech, okay? And they are nouns, pronouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. So this is the content that we are going to cover through this 2nd unit, and the name of this 2nd unit is parts of speech. The lectures required for this unit is 5. Then in the 3rd unit we are going to discuss about tenses. So how many tenses are there? There are 3 tenses. They are present tense, past tense, and future tense. And in these 3 tenses we have 4 subtypes for each tense. So in present tense also we have 4 sub tenses or sub parts. They are simple present, continuous present, perfect present tense, and continuous perfect present tense. And we can say that it is also applied for past tense and future tense. So through this unit we are going to learn the tenses and its types and its uses. So lectures required for this unit are 5. The next unit is unit number 4 is about voice. Voice means what? In Marathi we can say it as prayog. So in this unit we are going to learn active voice and passive voice. We will discuss this unit with examples, and the lectures required for this unit, there are 3 lectures we are going to conduct for this unit. Then coming towards next unit, the 5th unit is types of sentences. There are different types of sentences. Okay, so in this unit also, they have divided this unit into 2 parts. A part is about the types of sentences. In the A part, we have assertive sentences, interrogative sentences, imperative sentences, and exclamatory sentences. So, what is assertive sentence? In Marathi, we can call it as vidhanarthi, hokararthi. Okay, so assertive. The interrogative means prashnarthak. Imperative means what? Ajnarthi. In the imperative sentence, we demand or we command to person. We give command to a person which is in front of us, and that is why it is called as imperative sentence. And the next type is of exclamatory sentences. So in the exclamatory sentences, these are the sentences or these are the responses when we are excited. When we use these sentences, at that time we are either in the state of excitement, or we can say that fear or surprise. If anybody gives, our friend, if he will give a surprise to us, then we get excited, or we use the sentences or words that shows the exclamation, and that is why these are called exclamatory sentences. And what are they? They are wow, or we can say that if we find something is in pain, then we get nervous, or we get the feeling of nervousness, and that is why we express these feelings through exclamatory sentences or exclamations. In the B part, we are going to learn simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. So simple sentences are the simple sentences, means it has only single verb. Yes, there is only a single verb in the simple sentence. In compound sentences, there are 2 verbs and there are 2 sentences which are connected with the connector or preposition or other part of speech, and that is why we call it as compound sentence. And in the complex sentence, we use 2 sentences, but they have different status. We use them in a different manner. There are 2 clauses we use while constructing the complex sentence. One clause is what? Main clause, and second we use subordinate clause. So that is why it becomes complex sentence. And this is the all about types of sentences. The 6th unit is of speech. We use speak either in direct speech or indirect speech. When we use direct speech, when we are communicating directly to the person which is in front of us. We are the we use our language, or we uh, use sentence directly with that person. And when we use indirect speech, when we are telling something about third person which is not in front of us, which is not with us, to a second person, the person which is standing in front of us, and we are telling information, or we are telling the sentences that are told by that third person to us, and we are uh, telling these sentences to that person standing in front of us. So we use indirect speech for that. And the lectures required for this unit are 3. Wait for a minute. I will come within a minute. Please wait for me. Let's resume to our lecture once again. So, in the section A, we are going to learn basic grammar. So, in the next section, that is section B, we are going to learn the written communications. So, it is all about writing purposes, or how we are going to improve our writing communication, written communication. And the subunits that are included in this unit are, the unit first is application writing. So this is the unit where we are going to learn the application writing. So for what purpose we use applications then? We use applications for the purpose of leave, or getting documents, or paying fees. So when you when your college will start once again with full swing, then if you when you come to college, and if you need to apply for a leave, then you should know how to write a leave application, and that is why application for leave is included in this our writing communication or written communication. So we are going to learn how to write a leave application. Then when we need to get documents, or we need our original documents for the purpose of our work, then how we will get them from office? We will apply for them. So for getting documents also, we use application, or we give application for getting documents, and that is why this is also included. When we are going to pay fees, so when you pay fees also, then also you use this application letter. So the lectures allotted for this topic is only one. Within a lecture, we are going to discuss about this application writing. So second unit is job application. As you know that as you are engineering students, during third year, you will be facing campus interviews or recruitment, where you get recruited in the campus interviews, and for that purpose you need to have a knowledge of job applications, how to apply for a job, and for that you need to know how to write a job application and a covering letter to apply for a job. So we are also discussing it in the lecture. So it has given 1 hour lecture. The third unit is of resume writing. So what is resume then? Resume is your biodata, or we also can call it as CV, or its long form is curriculum vitae, and that is why there are 3 names for this resume. We also call it as resume, we can also call it as CV, and we also call it as biodata. It is also a record of our academic achievements. It is in resume writing, or in resume, there is our information, our biological information, there is our name, there is our address of correspondence, where we are living. In resume, there is also our academic qualifications. So the academic performance, we also need to enhance, and that is why for a better resume, or for a strong resume, we need to perform well in our academics also. And also there are our hobbies, our short-term goals, our long-term goals are also included in our resume. So this is what we are going to learn through this resume writing. In the fourth unit, we are going to learn how to write an email. So there is, in this world, in this globalized world, it is very useful or it is very necessary to have a knowledge of writing an email. We also write an email to our friend also. We can write it to our friend. We can send it to our employee where we are working, or from that company also we get emails. So email writing is also an important part of the communication skills and soft skills. So we are going to learn it through this unit. The fifth unit is of essay writing. So what is the essay then? Essay is a short story where we write it in one, two or more than two paragraphs. But minimum we write an essay of 2 paragraphs. And how many types of essay are there? There are 4 types of essay. There are 8 types of essays are there, and we are going to learn narrative essay, descriptive essay, expository essay, persuasive essay, argumentative essay, analytical essay, comparison and contrast essay, and last, cause and effect essay. So this much types of essays we are going to learn in this course. So what is the narrative essay? Narrate means what? To construct a story. So in the narrative essay, generally we narrate a story or construct a story, and we write them, or we write it in the form of narrative essay. In the descriptive essay, we generally describe the things, or we generally describe the events. Something which is, when something is put in front of you, something means something object or something material which is put in front of you, and you will say to write an essay on it. Then how you will write it? You will write it in the form of descriptive essay. You will describe what is that object, what are its feature, what is its image, what is its color, how does it looks. You will all describe it, and that is why it is called as descriptive essay. Then next is expository essay, persuasive essay, argumentative essay. In argumentative essay, you generally do argumentative, or you generally argument in that essay. In the analytical essay, what you can do, you will do analysis of that situation or anything that is in front of you. In compare and contrast essay, you will compare and contrast. And in cause and effect essay, you will generally tell what are the causes and what are the effects of that topic. And we are going to complete this unit within 3 lectures. Then in the section, last unit is of report writing. Then what is the report writing? When we are working in a organization or in a company, and when some we can say that if our boss asked us to write a report of what you have done till today, then what we will write then? We will write what are our achievements, what we have done till the date in that essay, and we will provide our report. We will provide our information through that report, and that is why it is called report writing. In that, we are going to cover progress report writing. The progress report means what? What is the progress if you are working in a IT company or you are working in a mechanical company, then you will need to learn how to write a report. Whatever the raw materials we have imported, whatever the instruments that we have exported, that is we can write through this report writing. How many of the numbers we have imported, how many of the number of instruments we have exported, that you will need to write during the your working or your job. And that is why what is the progress of that product, it is also the point you have to learn to write. Then after that, fall in production, you will have to write a report on also fall in production also. When some company, when your company is not doing well in the market and your production is not up to the date, or your production of your instruments has fallen down, then why is it so? What are the causes of that? You have to write in that report. That is why it is the fall in production report. Then next report is what? Is of investigation and accidental report. So generally we hear this word in the cases, criminal cases, investigation, and that we also have an habit of watching the TV programs like CID or Crime Patrol or other shows. So in that shows or in that TV shows, we can find the investigation of that criminal case, which is done under the CID inspector. And that is why we also have to write in the engineering job also, or in the core job, why our product has failed, why our product hasn't reached to the people we thought to. That investigation you have to do or you have to follow, and that is why it is the investigation and accidental report. So we are going to spend 2 hours for this unit. Come to the next section. This is the section C, where we are going to learn oral communication, or we are going to learn oral communication. So in this section, we will learn how to introduce ourselves. The first unit is of introduction. In this, we are going to learn how to introduce self and friend. So it is all about first unit, where we are going to learn introduction, how to introduce ourselves and how to introduce to our friend. The second unit is of dialogues. Then in this unit, we are going to learn oral, written, and practice. We are going to learn oral dialogues, and we are going to learn written, and we also will practice these dialogues. In the third unit, this is the unit of role play. In this unit, you will be given a situation, and on that situation, you have to play roles. So this is, we can call this we can call it as a short drama also. And this is of the third unit, role play, where we are going to practice by giving situation. You will be given a situation and you will have to perform a short drama or play on that situation or on that subject. So lectures required for this unit are 2. Then in the fourth unit, we are going to have a discussion on presentation. And in this unit, we are going to learn how to present any topic or any idea for minimum 2 to 4 minutes. So you will be given a topic or an idea, and you will be given little time, or you will be given some time for your preparation of presentation, and you will have to present on that given topic for minimum 2 to 4 minutes. And the lectures allotted for this unit are, there are 5 lectures. In 5 lectures, we are going to cover this topic. So the next unit is 5th unit. It is a group discussion. So all of you know that GD is a very important communication, or it is very important to have a knowledge of group discussion for the purpose of cracking the interview, or before interview, for the placement cell or for the company, for getting selected in a company. They will first take your aptitude test, then you will be filtered, and toppers will be sent in the next round, and that round will be of group discussion. And in this round, they will make 2 groups of you people, and you will be given a topic on which the A side will speak on that topic, and the B side will speak against that topic. And in this way, that group discussion will be organized. And that is why GD with preparation, we are going to learn GD with preparation and spot topic. Also, that people, HR people, or we can say that that people, representatives of that MNC, multinational companies or IT company, They will also give you a topic on the spot, and you will not be given any time or few minutes for the preparation on the topic. It will be extempore like topic. You will be given a topic on the spot and you will have to speak on that topic. So this is all about group discussion. We are going to spend 5 lectures on it. Then 6th unit is of interview techniques. So we are going to learn interview techniques in this topic, and also we are going to learn manners and etiquettes. What are the manners and etiquettes we should follow while facing the interview, while giving the interview to the panel which is in front of us and which is going to give a job to us. And that is why this is the topic which is included in your syllabus. The 7th unit is of non-verbal communication. So what is the non-verbal communication? It is the communication which is conducted without any oral language or without any language, and that is why it is called non-verbal. In the verbal communication, we use our spoken tongue or we use our mother tongue, our language for conveying or communicating our message. But in the non-verbal communication, we don't speak or we don't communicate through words. We use our gestures, our body language, our postures, eye contact, our dress and appearance also speak a lot, and that is why it is included in our non-verbal communication. The 8th unit is of storytelling, where you will be given a picture or you will be given words, and by relating and joining with your mind these words, you will have to tell a story. So it is a story which is made, or by preparing a story we are going to prepare this story by using the given words and pictures, and we are going to tell in front of the class. In the 9th unit, it is the unit of describing. In this unit, we are going to describe a place, person, and thing. So something is given or something is put in front of us, and we have to describe, or we will have to describe it through our words about that place, person, or thing. And come to the next section. The next section is of section D is of verbal ability. This will be the section in which you will be learning grammar, analogies, for the purpose of your aptitude or for the purpose of your for the purpose of increasing or updating your aptitude, knowledge, or verbal ability. So this section D will be useful for your aptitude test, and it also contains two units. The first unit is of grammar, where we are going to find errors. We are going to correct sentences, and we are going to complete sentences. So in this unit, error finding, sentence correction, and sentence completion, these are the subunits that we are going to learn. The second unit is of analogies. Analogies means in this unit we are going to learn the various types of words, that is synonyms, antonyms, idioms or phrases, one word substitution, confusing words, cries of animals, and offsprings or young ones of animals. What we call the babies of the animals of different type. And next we are going to learn homes of animals, and at the last we are going to learn genders. So section D is all about the verbal ability. So this is all about the structure of CIP. There are 4 sections that we are going to complete or discuss through our CIP, this course. The section A will be of basic grammar. The section B will be of written communication. Section C will be of oral communication, and in the last section, D section, we are going to learn our verbal abilities. We are going to discuss what is there in the aptitude test. So this is all about the structure of CIP. Have you understood this? Can anybody reply, please? Do you come to know what is the structure of the CIP? What we are going to learn or what we are going to discuss through this course?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we will then close this slide and we will move to the next slide. Wait for a minute. I will come with drinking water. Okay. I was thirsty, that is why. We have 2 hour lecture, and that is why our lecture will end at 4:45. So after 10 to 15 minutes, I will call your roll numbers, and at that time you will have to give your roll call. So don't share your number at this moment. I will call your roll numbers, and after that I will mark your presenting. So wait for it is 4:15 now, and we will have almost half an hour. So after 15 minutes, I will take your roll call, and at that time itself, you will have to uh, call your roll number. Let's move towards next slide. I'm going to present it in front of you. Okay. So is it visible to all of you? Yes, it is. So then what is spoken English? So there are 2 words, English and spoken. English as a language and spoken means used in oral form. So what is spoken English? A language or English language that we use in the oral form, and it is called as spoken English. So we have 4, we can say that language has its 4 types: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So each language has its 4 aspects. Okay, and what are these aspects? These are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So these are the most important aspects of language. But generally what we do, we give more importance to the writing purposes or reading purposes, but we don't give importance to the listening as well as speaking. That is why these 2 aspects, we become poor in these 2 aspects. So from first standard, as you know that you are learning this language, but you are not taught to speak it in traditional classes or in traditional schools. They only teach you to write this language, to read this language, but they don't or they didn't teach you to how to listen to a language and how to speak this English language in a proper way. So we are going to also discuss about these four aspects. The first is listening, where generally we listen carefully to the people in front of us and what are they talking or what are they speaking to us. So listening is a most important aspect. Without a good listener, you won't be a good speaker. That is why listening is most important. So first, try to listen carefully to the person in front of you or the person speaking to you. And then after, you will have to reply or you will have to communicate with him. So listening is the most important aspect in this process. The second aspect is of speaking. So generally we try to avoid speaking in English. Why? We have phobia or we have fear in our mind, and that is why we try to avoid uh, to speak to the people in the English language. But we are taught to read and write in our classes from first standard to the 10th standard, and that is why we are expert in these fields. We can read the English very well. We can write uh, in English, but we can't be a good listener or good speaker. So what we have to do is we have to give more stress and more efforts to these two aspects of the language. So these are the four aspects. मॅडम रोल कॉल घ्यायचा आहे का यांचा चॅट बॉक्स मध्ये त्यांना काय करायचं सो I will request you to put your roll call in the chat box. Okay? आणि 4:30 ला संपवायचं लेक्चर 4:30 ला संपवायचं का 4:45 पर्यंत घ्यायचं तसं काही म्हणत नाहीत ना कोण 4:45 पर्यंत घेतलं नाही तर पुढे बर तुम्हाला मोबाईल लागायचा नाही ना So put your roll number in comment box. So we will wind up our session. We will take a fast recap of what we have studied today. So in this lecture we discussed about the importance of English, where we learn that what is the language, why do we learn English, why do we, what are the reasons to learn English, what is the power of the English language. We also learn that English is the international common tongue. It is a language of education. It is also a language of travel and business. As it has the resources, there are millions of the resources written in the English language and written for the purpose of the grammar of the English language, and that is why it is the most important but easiest language in the world. Even we can't learn our Indian languages such as southern languages like Malayalam or Telugu or Tamil, but we are very convenient or we get very familiar with this language because of its easy grammatical structure, and that is why it is very easy or it is the most suitable language to learn very easily. It is also a language of internet and press, and due to these reasons English is the most important language. So in the summary also we have discussed about English as the language of business, education, knowledge and learning, traveling, job opportunities, window to the world. Yes, it is the most important point. It is the window to the world. Through this window, through the window of English, we look or we watch the whole world. It is the language of internet and press. It is also the language of science and engineering. So this much we have studied in the importance of English language. In the second slide, we discussed about the structure of CIP. In this, we discussed that there are 4 sections, and they are section A, and that is, it is about the basic grammar. So in the structure of CIP, section A is about basic grammar. In this section, we have discussed that there are units, 6 units. First is of introduction. Second is of parts of speech. Third, tenses, voice, types of sentences and speech. In the section B, it is the section which we have discussed that it is about written communication. In this section, we are going to learn application writing, job application, resume writing, and email writing, essay writing, and report writing. So this is the section which will we are going to learn through this section the written communications. The third section is of oral communication, where we are going to learn the oral abilities or oral communication, how to conduct an oral communication, how to introduce ourselves and our friend. We are going to learn how to make a dialogue with other people. We are going to conduct an activity of role play, presentation, group discussion. We are going to learn interview techniques through this unit. Also, we are going to learn non-verbal communication, storytelling, and describing. So this is the unit in which we are going to learn oral communications. In the last section, section D, it is about the verbal ability, where we will prepare this section to get or to enhance your knowledge of the aptitude. And in this, you will be learning grammar and sentence correction, sentence completion, error finding, and you will also learn the second analogies, where we are going to learn what are the synonyms, antonyms, idioms or phrases, one word substitution, confusing words, cries of the animals, houses of animals, the offsprings, that is the young ones or babies of animals, and the genders. So this is all about the structure of CIP. So we are going to start the actual syllabus from the next lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to see what are the parts of speech and how many types of there in the parts of speech. So this is for that much is from this lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to start with the parts of speech. So thank you for joining this lecture. Let's stop here then. This meeting is ended here, so you can leave the meeting now. Okay, thank you.